The February 25th electoral cycle translates into 24 years of uninterrupted electoral cycle, the longest in the history of Nigeria. It came with lots of optimism and expectation. In my own opinion, I would like to say that this election was the most anticipated election in the history of Nigeria. It came with lots of optimism amongst local and international observers that this election would come with more improvements than others.
Hello everyone, my name is Emmanuel and I want to share my thoughts on what I feel about the Nigerian February 25th, 2023 presidential election. It is a critical time for our nation and these are the issues that need our attention. Firstly, most of the contestants in the elections are too old. We have contenders who are 70 and 72 years old respectively.
Hello, good day. My name is Dennis Ezechukwu Godwin. Now, following the outcome of the election, I would say that Nigeria still have a very long way to go in election matters.
To be sincere with ourselves, February 25th every year supposed to be anniversary for this Nigeria. Every Nigerian knows say na February 25th 2023 na him our big men for this country carry their lie, deceit and open thief take so smelly clothes, wear am without shame. They waka for our country reach today.
Today, I'm going to share my thoughts with you about the Nigerian 25th February 2023 presidential election. The former president of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari, and the National INEC chairman promised us Nigerians a good, incredible, transparent, free and fair election, which turned out to be our worst nightmare.
I'll be exploring the three prominent candidates, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, Obedient of the Labour Party, Bola Ahmed Asiwaju Tinubu, Batified of the All Progressive Congress, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Articulated of the People's Democratic Party.
So what's an election? An election is a formal process where people choose individuals to hold public offices or decide on specific issues. And we're not going to be looking at the aspect of deciding on specific issues, you're making decision. I'm going to be looking at the aspect of choosing individuals to hold public offices. Don't talk about election. Eligible citizens, I'm not Nigeria, citizens from 18 years and above are the ones that are eligible to vote their representative.
It was an election that was so greatly anticipated by an average Nigerian with so much energy and hope that it's going to be the only vital avenue for salvaging the situation of the nation.
Our president is saying there is nothing I can do. So there is nothing I can say. I will carry on. If I be close my eyes, I say for Canada, I collect more. I will come back. This country knows.
Two things were unprecedented about the 2023 general elections. First was the stout political rallies held by Nigerians across Nigeria even before electioneering campaigns kicked off. Second was the use of beavers. Nigerians were given repeated assurances that beavers would not falter, that beavers would work. Unfortunately, all these were rendered completely useless when the electoral body intentionally refused or failed to transmit results online.
This is the first DDM video competition. No glitches, no court cases, and definitely no human electoral empire. It is 100% transparent, free, fair, and credible. Why? Simple. because the videos with the highest engagement on DDM YouTube, DDM Twitter, or DDM Facebook will win 100,000 naira each. That means good news. You can still participate in the competition and win the 100,000 naira. Just pick up your phone, make a video of not more than 5 minutes on the topic, what I think about the February 25, 2023 Nigeria's presidential elections. Send your video via WhatsApp or Telegram to the number +234 708 750 7299. Winners will be announced on the 25th of February 2024. It is the first anniversary of the 2023 presidential elections. DDM. Check out your history and rewrite your destiny.
We are committed to ensuring that the 2023 general election is transparent and credible, reflecting the will of the Nigerian people. Let me once again reassure Nigerians that there is no going back on the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation.
Yes. Good. Okay, I'm on screen. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this section of the DDM Diaspora Digital Media Telethon. And for this very segment, we are going to look at INEC, election rigging, and technical glitches. Now, when we look at INEC, we're looking at the process, the entire referee. It's like the almighty of the elections as being decided. They plan the entire thing. They supervise all primaries. INEC is also responsible for keeping printing materials, keeping them safe, make sure sensitive materials are delivered on time, also to ensure that the non-sensitive also get to their destinations on time. Among the responsibilities of the Independent and National Electoral Commission, INEC, is also to carry out free, fair, and credible elections, which, as we saw by the video that just went by, was promised by Professor Yakubu Mohammed, the INEC chairman, as at 2023 during the presidential elections. Well, you're welcome to this forum. I'm still looking out for my guests. They are yet to arrive. And Veteran Che, and of course, the great Imo Jonathan. However, while you are here, you are all our guests, and I would like to hear from you. Right from the room, I can see within us here have some very, very prominent speakers. In fact, I have an ocean of them. So I would like to probably invite a few of us to start the discussion and see how it goes from there. This program is actually to enable Nigerians speak freely. It is non-partisan. It doesn't belong to APC, PDP, or Labour Party, or even and the Conquasias. Feel free to express yourself, and let's have fun while we're doing that. Femi, are you close by? And Dr. Moses Anongo, I would like to start with you. INEC.
Hi. Thank you very much, my chair. How you doing? How is everything? Have a blessed Sunday. I hope everybody's having a blessed Sunday. And this topic that we're talking about now, as far as INEC, is going to go down in history, and it's going to be studied for generations to come. Because actually, Nigerians we were used to rigging, but how it came about and the glitches, technical glitches, quote unquote, is unprecedented. We never saw it coming. And every time in Nigeria that something happens, then we end up learning another technical term. In this case, it's called the accreditation system beavers, or should we call it the manipulation of democracy? So I'm not going to take too much of the time. I want people to really put their inputs on this topic, and I'm all ears to learn and to listen. Thank you very much.
That is brilliant. Yes, I can see Pius Ebong. What's your take? We are looking, first of all, as INEC, as the empire of the election. Before we go
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Pam. It's a pleasure being with you this afternoon. I'm reaching out from Calabar, the capital city of Cross River State. Calabar is peaceful for now. I thank God.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
on this very topic of INEC, I know a lot of discussions have been going on concerning what to do with INEC. And I don't think there is a paucity of ideas what to do. To my own understanding, I think the electoral umpire in Nigeria, being INEC, is too bogus. The responsibility on INEC and their spread and power and authority makes INEC and whosoever heads INEC a demigod. I mean, whatever they want to do, they go ahead and do it, whether it is good or bad. INEC is too big and too powerful. I think INEC should be unbundled in the future. We should have a department that takes care of maybe the equipment and the preparation for the election. We should have a department that actually, not necessarily a department, how do I put it? We should have an authority, yes, that takes care of the preparation to election. We should have also an authority that actually does the election management system. And then we should have the authority that takes care of the technical aspect of it. If it wasn't the INEC chairman that had the power to order the technical department of INEC to shut down, because that's what happened, to shut down the whole system. If it was a parallel organization, it would have needed another compromise from somewhere for that to have happened. So I believe going further, INEC should be unbundled. Now, the election that that was conducted in 2023, exactly a year away from now, had three enemies. The number one enemy was the INEC itself. The number which I have just spoken about. The number two enemy were the political parties. Some political parties were fully prepared to wreak havoc. That was why they were talking about structure. Some political parties that came out with good intention did not have structure. Honestly, when Labour Party said people are our structure, it is not true. It is not, because in Nigeria we have seen that you can win at the vote, but you don't win election. So some political parties did not have the structure that will see to the monitoring of the election from the beginning to the announcement. So that was going further. Political parties who put themselves forward should make sure that they have structure down to the grassroots to monitor and protect their own votes till the end.
Can you hold on a bit? Now, I would like you to look at INEC, the planning process and how they executed the presidential elections. just give us flashlights on your assessment of INEC and how it carried out the February 25th presidential elections. Then we now come back to the solutions you're preferring.
Right. So my opinion, my thinking is that right from onset, INEC was compromised. All these appearances on the television and assurances were just, I don't even know how to describe them. It is visible that, look, from the beginning, lying for this set of people comes very naturally. They were compromised right from the beginning. They knew exactly what to do. So though they had the capacity to deliver, but they did not deliver, they didn't do it sincerely. It was, some people will say that this was the worst election in the history of Nigeria. Yes, it is. In one sense, it was the best election, in the sense that Nigerians came up. People were determined to come and vote. People like me, people like my mother who has never voted before, people were determined. So it could have been the best. But at the end of the day, the election management was so poor to the extent that so many people are disenfranchised. And people are not even saying that, look, we won't even come on again, because whatever we do, at the end of the day, we won't have, the vote of the people would not count. So the performance of INEC was very, very poor during 2023 election. That's how I can qualify it, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pilot. Now, I've seen within our guests, Mr. Moses Ondongo is from Benue State, and probably wants to add one or two things. Mr. Ondongo, you have been very, very powerful within the political sphere in Benue State. We know of your mobilization strategies. We have also heard of how you've tried to actually make sure people come out to participate in elections. Now, what is your assessment of INEC concerning the 2023 February elections? Mr. Moses Ondongo, are you there? Doctor.
Yes, the National Chairman Rwang Pam Jr., I thank you very much. I thank the organizers precisely and our guest speakers here. Well, it's quite unfortunate. Before you talk about INEC, how did INEC come about? INEC is just an acronym, Independent National Electoral Commission. But before now, what used to be INEC in the history of Nigeria started as Electoral Commission of Nigeria, ECN, which was established in 1959. And at this time, it was headed by Ronald Edward Reed. Shortly after that, FEDECO came in. FEDECO was established in 1978, and that was the electoral umpire that conducted the election under General Olusegun Obasanjo, the first presidential election which brought Shehu Shagari into power as the first civilian president in this country. And there were a lot of changes, what we call metamorphosis. INEC was just the last verge of what came from National Electoral Commission. And so if I want to talk about assessment of INEC, I will take you a little back from the days of General Muhammadu Buhari, the days of Jigar Jonathan, before this present election umpires we're talking about. I think some of the best innovations that we had in INEC were under Professor Atahiru Jigar, irrespective of the fact that the announcement of Jonathan was equally done by him, and shortly after that, Jigar announced Buhari, and immediately after that, what we had was the appointment of this Mahmoud. Jigar transformed the election. What we have beavers today was the initiatives of Atahiru Jigar, and it was the first technology that was initiated to checkmate some electoral malpractices, especially proxy voting. And so during the days of Jiga, a particular community can just use one person to vote for hundreds of thousands of persons. And so it was very easy to manipulate election results. And so Jiga brought in the technology of preventing people from voting for others, but it didn't work. It didn't work until Yakubu came and the National Assembly beckoned on him to bring up that technology and fine-tune it in such a manner that it would be a game changer, which he claimed. And so the issue of bimodal verification machine came. And so before the election, Yakubu gave us the hope that INEC was prepared to conduct credible election, one with two issues: the signing of the Election Amendment Act into law and the strengthening process in the area of technology that was aimed at preventing seriously the extent of proxy voting. And so many Nigerians were actually thinking that there is enough preparation with all that Yakubu informed us. But as a person, as an individual, I was never convinced, because I went through the history of Yakubu when Buhari brought him. I went through the series of elections he conducted, and I came to realize that the man had more number of inconclusive elections under his regime compared to the number of days that Atairu Jiga sustained as the INEC chairman. So I started having problem with Yakubu. I knew that this issue of having conclusive elections in critical areas that the masses will want a candidate of their choice to win, he will suspend that election. And after that, the government will channel the entire security architecture to that particular area and circumvent the intentions of the masses. So I was not comfortable with Mahmoud. So all the promises he was giving, the game changer, the Electoral Act, and all sorts of promises, including the Chatham House promise he gave before the international community, I knew that this man would never do any reasonable thing. So starting from the deployment of election materials, I noticed some critical challenges, especially in Benue. How can you send in election materials and some sensitive materials that will record the final result of candidates were missing in strategic local government with high level of voters' strength? I noticed that. I complained to my people. I said, see, this man has started what he did across the country. He has started it in Benue. If you're not careful, you know, we protested when the election materials landed in Benue. When we studied the sensitive materials and noticed that some of the from ECAE were missing. That was when we were alarmed. But luckily enough, that matter was addressed immediately. But we started noticing problem. And that what happened in Benue was not only peculiar to Benue, it was peculiar to other states. It wasn't only in Benue. And in some states that were not aware of these things, they never thought it wise that already Yakubu was on a mission to accomplish what the status quo had laid before him. So when you want to assess INEC, I will first tell you that for me, the assessment, the score sheet I will give for INEC from the beginning of Mahmoud's tenure to what happened during the 2023 presidential election, I wasn't surprised. I was not disappointed. I knew it was going to that stage. And I knew that the issue of judiciary was not even an option. Because in this country, we can't talk of a judiciary. Where is it? Which law do they interpret? I don't think we need to be disappointed. But let me tell you, the problem of this country in terms of elections started with Buhari. If you want to blame Yakubu, you just blame Yakubu. I call him a villain, a circumstantial villain. And I think what we're passing through today will judge this man and his generation. But for Buhari to have appointed this man, having read his credentials, this has been a dubious individual. That is why in all my reference to him, I can't call him professor. Is he a professor of criminality or what? A professor of what? A professor who cannot see the future of a country? A professor who cannot see that a country is heading to anarchy and doom, and will still go ahead and do what the masses say no? The Nigerian masses went out and voted. A common sense human being would say that the extent of voter apathy we have witnessed in this country before now, and what people have turned out to get their PVCs, prepare on the election day, they went out, voted under heavy sun. No, we need to think what these people are going through. Let us use our conscience to judge the future of this country. And this man all these things and went ahead and announced this kind of result.
Dr. Moses Anongo, you never disappoint. You're always opening fire and being frank on the issues. Yes, you brought up a very key issue there. The background of actually the head of INEC himself, and also you talked a bit about the materials, how they were sensitive, non-sensitive, were they actually clean and tidy, or were they already tampered with before the time? Now I can see Miles in the audience, and also Professor Ken Ozoili. So before I come to you, Professor Ken, on actually INEC's conduct or announcement procedure of the results, let me go to Miles Teye Jack, if you are there. Miles, from your observation of the elections, because you are quite active, we saw your posts on various social media, assess INEC, give INEC a rating in terms of performance. Presidential elections. Miles Teye, are you there? Hello, Mr. Miles.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone in this forum. My chairman, like you have always will want to ask a question, a direct question to try to. Yeah. INEC, if you ask me, have will always do what they are asked. That is supposed to be an organization that is independent, but like they have always given us a picture that is not independent. INEC have been an annexation of presidency, where they receive instructions from the leadership of the country to say, look, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. In fact, in so state, this is it's only in this our generation that I get to know that INEC presidency will tell INEC that is supposed to be independent, that we have interest in so state. So person of so political party must be made to go through, regardless of whoever put what in place or who qualifies or who has what credentials to emerge in any voting system. But presidency will use INEC, who are supposed to operate independent of anybody's opinion, and then clear a preferred candidate for them. INEC, if you ask me, they are not. It's a beautiful organization that is supposed to be independent, operate independent of anything. But what we have recently, and with regards to the past elections of our 2023 February elections, it's clear that with the proliferation of sensitive materials into quarters they are not supposed to get to before the day, and with the activities of the INEC officials on the electoral materials, like the ballots, where you have ballots already stamped, ballot results already uploaded into the beavers, Like you have the issues of the portals, two portals that we know, in fact, three, the reading machines, the card machines that receive the information from the voting points and then send them through the machine to the first portal that receive before translating to the residual portal, which gathers everything. The compromisation of the portals, where the second portal was shut down, such that it will not be able to translate whatever the machines receive from the voting points into the residual portal. That one alone tells that something is wrong, and whatever comes out will certainly be a wrong information. It will just be left at whatever the INEC will translate to Nigerians. First of all, I remember before the election period, a previous year, the Professor Mahmoud Yakubu kept telling Nigeria, he read a communique to Nigerians that we are going to transmit this to everyone, so that whatever transmits or whatever happens at the voting centers will be seen by Nigerians at every instance. One, that was not done. Two, at the peak of the elections, we saw a difference, a different thing entirely from what he said he's going to. So from that moment, I knew that this elections has already been compromised, and we will only be left with results that they feel they want to tell us. And that is why we get to where we are today. Thank you.
In fact, the comment of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu that you just alluded to, in fact, I think we'll play it shortly after we have spoken with Professor Ken Ozoilu. Thank you very much, Miles. But Professor, in your opinion, was the presidential election rigged? And if so, who was responsible? 2023 presidential, was there rigging in any way? Hello, Professor Ken.
Yes, good afternoon all. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Speaking to you here from Abuja. Well, I think that question is, I don't know, a moot one, because it is clear to the blind and clear to the lame, to anybody, that the will of the people was perverted on many different levels, Of course, in the past, we've had experiences of altering the will of the people, either by voter suppression, vote buying, or outright manipulation of results on many different levels. But I think that this one was special in the sense that for the first time, there was a lot of interest, there was a lot of participation, as one speaker, alluded to. People actually mobilized. At a point in time, we used to make fun and joke. If you don't have your PVC, not be my friend, or not come and marry my daughter, or something. That's how we make fun in Nigeria. Yeah. But there was a lot there was a lot of interest. People actually went out to register. People mobilized. People voted. But their wish was subverted. I like to take exception to people who blame Nigerians and say they have voted their choice, they have made their choice, now they should get the consequences. I think that is very unfair. Everybody knows who the people's choice was. So, going forward, I think that what we should try to avoid is a situation where the spirit of the people will be broken, because that's the other component of the manifestation of this election. Many people are thinking, look, what is the point? But we know that this thing is possible, and it's going to be possible because of technology. You and I stay in our houses and conclude transactions in the bank, and not one thing will be there. even when it is inconclusive, automatically it's either reversed or we'll find a way, and all these things are based on electronics. So what I'm saying is that we should not stop striving for a clean, transparent election backed by ICT, because it is possible and it can be achieved. A lot of things will have to go in, and that is why I'm happy to be part of this discussion, because it was not just INEC that was the problem. There were many levels in which people were subverted, and so a lot of activism needs to go in to be able to mobilize the things that we want to see take place subsequently, because the battle is not over until it's over. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ken. You know, I've said I would remain on you for expansion on who were the other elements responsible for the rigging. If you have a word or two on that, because the question has always been, no, INEC rigged the election. No, it was the political parties that rigged, or no, it was just a cabal or every party. Who do you think was actually, who perpetrated most of the rigging? Are there any examples from your observation of the elections?
Well, not to go philosophical, but I've always said that the biggest threat to democracy in this country, at least that I know, is the politicians themselves. When the military were asked to go back to the barracks and preach the scene, the greatest beneficiaries were the politicians. Because the biggest of democracy has not trickled down to the people, to the common man on the street. The biggest beneficiary was the politician. And today, the biggest threat to that system of governance is the politician. Okay, and it begins when, for instance, they weaponize poverty. You understand? You know, there's a way in which a man is hungry and comes to him with 1,500. Money that he should have used to create opportunity for him to get gainful employment and all that. You take a fraction of it and share among them, you know, and they receive that. It's the same thing with the security agencies. A lot of these vote buying took place in broad daylight. Those alterations were done. Security agencies there, the police were there, the civil defense, unfortunately, even our youth corps were compromised, you know. But this is just, if you try to pinpoint them one by one, you do not do justice. Because underneath, you see, there's a certain degree of undermining that has taken place. Such as a constable to salary at 20, 30 naira, you offer him 100 naira for this, 100,000 for this. If he doesn't go, somebody will do. This is his mindset. You know, if he doesn't do it, a youth corps comes, he feels that he has this opportunity to blow, as it were. He has been selected for this duty, and his friends are telling him that they're paying people who play along those amount. You know, so there's a level in which the pervasive poverty, and the poverty, what created the poverty is still the maladministration by the politicians. So the corruption. It's the corruption that created this degree of poverty that we're wallowing. You know, so this is why I say that, you know, even with the INEC and official, everybody say Mahmoud Jega. Yes, but Jega was not there the following year, but there were results that were crashed and cancelled. I'm not exonerating Jega. I believe that he is comfortable, and I believe that the box stops on his table, and I believe he promised and paid. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm saying that there is a system-wide provision, you know, of this undermining that took place, you know, and it's not just in one place. That's just what I'm trying to say. But I think that the solution lies technology. The world has gone much farther beyond what we are trying to do. I mean, imagine during that election, somebody was telling us they don't want BTC, used in their state because there was no network. You know, but the person goes there, he makes phone call that is based on the same ICT. He transfers money to people in the same village that is based on the same ICT, and so many things, you know. So it did not work because it was instructed not to work. It's as simple as, if you don't want it to work, my people say that it's very difficult to wake up somebody who is pretending to be sleeping. it's actually sleeping, it can wake up. But if it's pretending to be sleeping, it is impossible to do. You know, so I think it is not work. Thank you very much, Rwang Pam Jr.
Thank you very much, Prof. Kevin, please, if you're there, can you replay that Professor Mahmoud's declaration, that very firm declaration that beavers, will be used for live transmission. I want to use this to engage Joe Eze, and let's see whether, how it went with INEC, because after making such repeated affirmations that everything will be transmitted, the results will. Yeah, Kevin, are you there? Okay. Now, while Kevin is getting that ready, Mr. Joe Eze, we're looking at glitches. Mahmoud came out, announced results by 4 in the morning. Before then, the whole day was spent on INEC was able to transmit National Assembly results directly from the same beavers machine. The Senate result was smooth. The House of Representatives result was smooth with the same machine. It's like your handset. You are able to call or send a message to A, B, and C, but you are not able to send a message to D. And it was a glitch. Is it that the D off his handset? Please, can you explain this very phenomenon? Joe Eze, are you there? With regards to and assess INEC's honesty in this regard. Hello, Mr. Joe. Joe Eze, are you there? Okay, while Mr. Joe prepares to, if you are there, you can unmute your mic and say a word or two. Okay, while he is preparing, I think I'll come back to you, Femi. How was the feeling when elections were going on and we are having correspondents on TV monitoring, and then all of a sudden we gathered that House of Assembly, National Assembly results were smooth, but then presidential refused to go. How was the feeling on your part or from your own?
Yeah. Well, what can I say? Only in Nigeria. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing in this day and age. And we have to always contemplate what technology will play a role in the future of Nigeria, no doubt about it. And the role it will play has to be decided upon by us. Technology is more than capable and is reliable beyond all dimensions as we know today. So when we're talking in mundane terms about something called beavers, it's just a system to be able to manipulate and do what
we are committed to ensuring that the 2023 general election is transparent and credible, reflecting the will of the Nigerian people. Let me once again reassure Nigerians that there is no going back on the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS. There's no going back on the transmission of results on the INEC result viewing portal in real time on election day.
Can you hear that? Real-time election.
That's what I'm talking about. So there's no going back on corruption. That's basically what he said. Because with technology, as far as we know it, if you have your handset in your hand, you can do and undo as you wish, and everything is safe. So technology has to play a role, but we as people have to make sure it's not, we don't need a genius, we don't need billions like they spend to implement what has to be done. What is the alternative to beavers? That's simple, affordable, and that will work and make sure the electoral process in Nigeria is transparent.
Okay, yeah,
And
exactly.
And real quick, I think a robust testing and also a legitimate backup system should be shown to the people at a very low cost.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
so what I'm saying with here is the same beavers worked for state for elections, for the National Assembly elections. Both, no glitch. The same very machine, like the single one you're holding. So I don't think there was anything really wrong because Amazon have come to defend themselves. They have supplied to other countries that have performed, undertaken elections, and it was smooth. So is it actually the beavers or somebody who is in charge of the beavers was responsible? Because Nigerians need to have a closure on this. And it's like it's a recurrent decimal. You can decide to use beavers, you can decide to throw it away.
I think in Nigeria's case, we have to make things simple. Simple as that. Coming up with all these grammatic errors and coming up with all these billions. Once you create those situations, you create a situation and a criminal entity in the system that's already corrupt. Make it simple. If your mobile phone can work, Nigeria should work. Make it simple. We don't need something gigantic. We're already broke. So let's make it simple, a simple process that's going to be transparent to everybody.
That is beautiful, sir. Now, as we draw to the close of this segment, I'd like to pose a question to all of us, whether you are on YouTube or whether you are here in the studio, part of our Zoom audience. Now, this is the simple question. Did INEC help Nigeria in the 2023 elections? Did INEC do well? Rate them between 1 and 10, 10 being they did excellent, 1 being that was terrible performance, and suggest one way forward. Let's start with you, Femi. I'm coming to you, Miles and Dr. Onongo. Just a sentence. Real one, you're saying 1. Femi, let's go on.
I give it a 0 because I mean, well, you can't grade what doesn't exist. They didn't do what they're supposed to do, so I can't give them any kind of grading. Is a passing grade, so I don't grade them. INEC is non-existent. It didn't function, and it's game over for INEC. Thank you very much. That's the way I feel about it. Point blank.
That is interesting. Now, while I get to, I think, let me have somebody else say a word or two there. Absolutely. Who has not spoken within our panel. Bolaji Balogun, sorry, Balogun Ajayi, rate INEC 1 to 10 and give me one reason for your answer. Did INEC help Nigeria with their conduct of the 2023 elections?
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
You're audible. Right on.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, talking about INEC, you know, the corruption surrounding 2023 election was, you know, highly pervasive, you know, and deeply consigned. You know, INEC failed us woefully. You know, the integrity failure on behalf of INEC was, was highly deplorable. INEC intentionally played a blind eye to their duties. You know, they were supposed to be the regulatory board. They were supposed to disqualify or approve any candidate that does not meet the required criteria. But they failed us, and we are so disappointed in INEC. They have failed us woefully, and the extent of this corruption has tainted, public trust in the democratic system. It's just, everybody just feels like abandoning the country and running to a safer place because everything is going unplanned and impromptu. You can imagine the situation we are in this nation. You can imagine the situation of the economy. I mean, highly deplorable. So INEC has failed us. Integrity is critical if we want to get it right in this nation. Integrity is highly critical. So I would say, though I have a lot of things to say, but you've just asked me to just in one sentence. I'm so sorry, I can't give it in one sentence. INEC has failed us woefully, and we are so disappointed in INEC. Thank you so much.
Thank you for so much, Bolaji. I'm sorry, Balogun. I'll come back to you for the closing remarks. But let me just pick a few things we have on the chat room here. We have, this is Rachel, or Rash, rather, yes. It's saying it's called INEC 1. We have also Rwang saying INEC 1. The question is, did INEC rate INEC between 1 to 10? 10 being they did well in the presidential elections, 1 being it was terrible. Aqua Christian said they did 0. Joe Eze said absolutely 0. So it is less than even. So if INEC has been this good, quote and unquote, with the previous elections, why is INEC still there with the same structure? So coming back to you, Bolaji, can you hit on that just once more before we come to Prince Rwang? Rwang Hamza, you are here. So let me get to Bolaji and then you conclude on this one. You'll give us a final touch. If INEC is rated this way, because we can see also from the YouTube, they are having issues. People are rating them quite low. So if INEC has been this bad, why are they still conducting elections in Nigeria? Malogun, are you there?
The national chairman.
Yes.
Let me just make a brief sentence. Yes.
Do you mean Bolaji or Balogun?
Sorry, Balogun. That's Balogun, and the name here is a bit confusing. So let's hear you. Then we come back to Hamza.
Okay. Please, can you repeat the question?
If INEC, as the rating we have seen so far, is 1 and 0, even on the YouTube, it's just 1 and 0. If they have performed this poorly, why is INEC still in charge of Nigeria's elections with the same structure, the same person?
That is just the question. That is the question. There should be a regulatory board that should be able to regulate INEC. Even the court that was supposed to step in and restore our pride and dignity, they failed us woefully. These are the things we were talking about. They overlook critical, moral failures because of money. They failed us. The court was supposed to put INEC back to track, but they all failed us. Even the voters were were suppressed. So INEC has, the court has failed us. INEC has failed us. So we are just left, just like that, and which is not supposed to be. Even majority of the voters were not given their PVC. So they failed us. INEC failed us seriously. And then the court was supposed to put us back to track, but they also failed us. So that's the question. What's the way out? We are all stranded. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Balogun. So Hamza, please, in one sentence, what is the way forward? And as he says, gives us his own opinion, we are wrapping up on this segment. So we move into the next hour.
Good afternoon, and everybody listening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're listening, all over the world. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for this, and I thank DDM for this kind of, let me call it summit, because what we have seen, there had been no serious review of the failure of INEC during the past election. One thing I would like us to correct is let our people be sincere whenever they are making contributions. You cannot give a 0 when you are told to give a 1 to 10. Yes, you don't agree with what INEC did. Give your 1 and go, because INEC actually conducted the election. But if you are saying 0, that means nobody was in charge of elections. So who then covered MC Oluomo when he threatened and said whoever they born were to come and vote Labour Party at a particular polling unit? Who was the umpire when that woman in Lagos was beaten at her polling unit? Elections held, and somebody announced the results. So people should just let us agree, understand, and make it known that INEC is a failure under Mahmoud Yakubu. From what even Anongo had said when he gave his own submission, he acknowledged that Jega was actually a super contributor to all of these things. But then Jega did not come up with all of these things to give the results that Yakubu gave. So let us commend the technological introduction, even though our people have used it against us. So how then do we progress from all of this? It is also still through technology. And that is why people like me are saying that we should not stop at that. We should look at how do we secure voters at the venues of the elections. Thank you. Bye-bye.
My prince, thank you. You're not going yet. That song that you always sing when you come out, you say energize people. You still remember our song?
Chairman, those songs are always there. If your conditions today make you shake and you still did not talk the way you feel, make you open your ears very well to the hear the truth talk way that they talk. Listen, make it they agree for me every day and night. You they hear me talk. One day you self go agree with me to the act the way as you they feel. Remember, if you know
out your own one day, of course, was that.
Not finish. Election story. Obasanjo plan very well. Election story. Jonathan plan very well.
You're not going anywhere yet, bro. You sing this song to usher the next section, which is going to be on what do you call it? Vote buying and electoral violence. Now, on behalf of all of you who have stayed tuned and participated within this segment, which was on INEC, election rigging and glitches. In fact, we don't have enough time for it. I will say thank you very much. Don't go yet. Remember, voting for the video competition is still going on, and we are trying to look for a way forward. Thanks for being there. Now hold on for Canning and Silas doing as they come up in the next few minutes. Meanwhile, my Prince Hamza, fire on. I'll join you in the song anywhere I can.
The rest after Mr. Chairman, I have them loaded.
Thank you so much.
Rwang Pam.
Yes.
Policeman go slap your face, you know, go talk. Army man go whip your yash, go they look like donkey. Rhodesia don't do their own, our leaders no talk anything.
Rwang is hit.
Listen, no tears and blood. Anongu, you know, say na hunger they leave us now.
I understand.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Silas, are you around KRP?
Yes,
Hello.
if you can.
That's interesting. So, Kevin, can we have our video so that Mr. Silas could introduce the next section?